So I always loved chocolate and sweets and biscuits, not so much cakes, but I did have very much a sweet tooth for chocolate, definitely. I always had this, which I now know is wrong, um, belief that with every dinner I had to have carbs. So I had to have potatoes or pasta or rice. And, otherwise it wouldn't be a dinner without it. And that's how I've lived for the 50 plus years of my life so far, but I don't do that anymore.
Hi everyone, this is Nasia Davos and welcome to this episode of Ask an X. Every Ask an X episode features an inspiring story of a CBQ program member who broke up with destructive habits and found freedom. And the X I have with me today achieved food freedom with the CBQ program, and she's here to tell you how she did it. Please welcome Mal Collins. Mal, welcome and huge congratulations on your success.
Hello, and thank you, Nasia.
It's my pleasure to talk to you today about your journey because you've had an amazing journey with quit smoking, with food freedom. But let's start with food freedom. And can you tell me in your own words, in your own experience, what does food freedom mean to you?
Okay, so in a nutshell, previously I was never what I would say a foodie. I always regarded food as just an essential that I had to have to keep living, and I never really enjoyed it. And so for that reason, I just stuck to my regular 5 meals or whatever that I'd used to cook every week. Tasty, but nothing particularly exciting. Always difficult when I went out into a restaurant in case they didn't have something on the menu that I liked. Very particular. Um, with food freedom, I've just got so many different ideas, and I'm trying a lot more things, and I'm looking forward to my dinners every evening because I'm trying something new a lot of times.
So food freedom for you, it got you excited about food again in a
Yes,
good way.
yes, yeah.
That's amazing. And looking back all your life, how was your relationship with food like? With sugar, with all types of food? You said you were never
Yeah.
a foodie, but yeah, tell me more.
So I always loved chocolate and sweets and biscuits, not so much cakes, but I did have very much a sweet tooth for chocolate, definitely. I always had this, which I now know is wrong, um, belief that with every dinner I had to have carbs. So I had to have potatoes or pasta or rice. And, otherwise it wouldn't be a dinner without it. And that's how I've lived for the 50 plus years of my life so far, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, and it was an incredible transformation.
Mm.
And I know you joined the Food Freedom Program. Why did you want to join a Food Freedom Healthy Weight Loss program?
So two reasons really. So after quitting smoking, which I'm just so incredibly proud of, and I'm nearly 3 years now since my last puff.
14 February.
Yes, yeah. So yeah. So I did actually put on some weight, not massively, but I wanted to get back to where I used to be on the weight. I tried a few things. I tried calorie counting. I tried no carbs after 7. I tried all the things that we kind of read about. Um, and they worked in the short term, but they weren't sustainable in the long term. So it just, yeah, the weight just didn't really come off and stay off. So when I found out about the Food Freedom Program, I was really excited and I was desperate to get on it because because I know the smoking program worked for me so well. I just thought to myself, my brain obviously reacts to this way of learning and working. So before I even got accepted on the program, I was 100% committed to knowing it would work for me, like nothing else I'd ever tried before.
That's awesome. And can you share a little bit about other things you've tried before? Because I know many people have tried all those things as well.
Yeah, yeah. So many years ago, I did Weight Watchers, which again, it was a long, long, long time ago, and it did work for me. But that was it's the same as calorie counting, which I did last year. It's a pain because you're looking up everything all the time. How many points? How many calories? How much? And weighing everything out. Have I got this much? Have I got that much? Writing everything down, and it's just quite it's just labour intensive, just doing that the whole time. What else did I try? Oh, the no carbs after 7. That was okay, but that didn't really achieve much. I thought it was going to achieve a lot more than it did, and it just didn't. I thought, because I've read things saying, "Oh, no carbs after whatever time, and the weight will fall off," and it didn't. So, yeah,
Mm. And all this calorie counting, living like this, counting points, counting calories is not freedom, right?
no, no, not at all. And you're
Yeah.
constantly saying to yourself, "I can't have that. I can't have that." And it's that psychological of denying yourself. And again, it's coming back to the willpower thing, which, as we all know, isn't sustainable. So with this program, even while I was going through it, when I was talking to people about it, because I love it, I was saying, and I never ever said I was on a diet. I said I'm on a food program. And then and it's changing that mindset. And this is now how I eat. This is my lifestyle. So it's not a diet, it's a change of lifestyle, and I'm not denying myself anything.
And that's a huge difference going from
Yeah,
thinking, I cannot have this, I cannot have that, it's a diet, to saying, I just changed the way I eat, and this is who I am now.
yeah, yeah. And I don't have to weigh everything.
Yes, which is exhausting and not
Yes.
sustainable.
No,
Of
no.
course, this is doable for a little bit, but
Mm,
this is not easy to make part of one's life, realistically speaking. But yeah, we
yeah.
don't even need to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
but then there was another couple of positives as well. So whereas I don't say I can't have that, or I'm not allowed that. I'm changing. I don't have that because I don't want it, and it's no good for me, and it's got no nutritional value in it. But on the reverse of that, I'm now having things that I wouldn't allow myself to have before, like proper butter. Would never have had butter when I was calorie counting or Weight Watchers because that's too much fat. So now I can have butter. Or I do have butter and I thoroughly enjoy it. So,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. And you said that this time it was not about willpower. So how was it different? Because you already know from the quit smoking program that sometimes when we say we are not going to use willpower, people are a bit confused or hesitant because we don't really know any other way to go about
Mm.
achieving a goal. So, in your perspective and experience, how was it to not use willpower?
So I would say for me, I was just intrigued and excited about the learning every week. I found some of the weeks I found more difficult than others, but one of the very early weeks, I couldn't stop telling everybody I know about it. It was about the sugar and the bliss point and the sugar industry and that Harvard report. And I was just, oh my God, how have we all been tricked for all this time? And I found that really, really powerful. Um, so I think it was a combination of the lessons every week and what we were learning and how our brains work and the experiments that we were doing. So and I think it was something that you said every week. It's, if it doesn't work for us, it doesn't work, but at least try it. And so that was it. It was just about having that open mind.
Mhm.
And I don't think I did ever think, oh no, I can't have that or I shouldn't have that. I just didn't because I just embraced the experiment and then thinking, well, I'll see how I feel in a week's time and see, if I feel deprived. But I never did.
Mm. Yeah, you're spot on. That's why we don't need to use willpower, because by slowly opening our mind to new experiences, because that's what the experiments were about, right? New experiences. By slowly and gradually embracing new experiences, we slowly and gradually change our desires and what we want. So then
Mm.
willpower is not an issue. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfectly
yeah,
said, man.
yeah.
Yeah. And so tell me, what is different this time? You don't tell yourself, I cannot have that. Instead, you're allowing yourself things that you didn't allow yourself before. What are some things in your life, maybe your day-to-day life or even special occasions, that is different now?
Oh, there's so many actually. So I eat a lot more fish now. I never used to eat fish, and now my freezer has um, salmon and cod and prawns. I always ate prawns, but I'm having those 2 or 3 times a week now with vegetables and salad. I don't need potatoes or rice or anything with it. So, and that's great. I've made my own tomato sauce. So I'm not buying things that are in tins with sugar and other nasty ingredients. So I know exactly what's in it, being made from fresh tomatoes. I've made my own bread several times with wholemeal multigrain flour. So again, no sugar. I don't eat it every day because it's not something I want to eat every day, but I make a loaf once every couple of weeks. I slice it and freeze it in 2 slice portions. So I might have that twice a week. So 4 very small slices of bread a week, and that's really nice. What else? And yeah, so I've been out in restaurants and managed to make good choices as well, knowing what I know. So I've gone for sort of artichoke and chicken salad, and it's been amazing. I had another time I had a goat's cheese and beetroot salad, which was really gorgeous. And I know you remember this, Nadia, but I'm going to mention it now anyway.
Yes.
I went to the cinema for the first time in years, and I always have a massive, massive big bag of sweets, pick and mix. And I went to the cinema and I didn't want any sweets. It wasn't I said I can't have them, I don't want them, or I can't, yeah, I can't have them, I'm not allowed. I even went over to the counter and had a look and just said, I just don't want them. So yeah, lots and lots of changes for the better.
Yeah, and I remember you sharing about the
Yeah,
first time you went to the cinema and you didn't take that big box of sweets, and it was such a new experience, and you were
it
so
was,
proud
yeah.
of it, and it is amazing because
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
we go to the cinema and immediately all the choices are there. The nachos with the chemical cheese and the popcorn and the sweets.
yeah,
But yeah, you made a different choice.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And tell me about your relationship with the sugar specifically. How has that changed? How did it used to be like, and how is it now?
I just don't have sugar. Really, I'd still eat quite a lot of fruit because I always have done. So I've got the sugar in the fruit. But aside from that, I've not had sugar in my drinks or anything for years anyway. I've never been one to drink fizzy drinks, so I don't have sugar in my drinks. Um, and I don't. I'm checking labels all the time in the supermarket, and I don't buy anything that has sugar in it. So I just don't have sugar other than in fruit, and that's
That's
absolutely
amazing.
fine.
And how were things before? So you didn't have fizzy drinks, but
No.
did you have, I think you had chocolate. You mentioned that you were a fan of chocolate, right?
Yep, yep, chocolate, mainly chocolate, sometimes biscuits, but mainly chocolate. But it probably for me, it was more the store cupboard ingredients. So, the tomato ketchup that you don't actually
Mm.
realise has got all the sugar in it, and the tins of baked beans. I used to love baked beans. I've not had baked beans for a long time now because of the amount of sugar in them. So, and that's fine. I don't miss them. It was just something I used to do. So that's probably the biggest change for me is looking at the labels and just not buying things that have sugar in.
Got it. And that can make a huge difference, right?
Mm,
Because it's everywhere.
yes, yeah, and just learning that. And even when we had, and I don't know, don't want to break any secrets here, but all the list of various different names for different sugars, and how high up the list it is depending on how much is in it. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a game changer as well. Very insightful.
yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, but some of the things that you see, and I think some of the things that you showed us, yeah, it's quite scary when you see the amount of sugar. in things that you just didn't even know had any sugar in. So,
Indeed.
yes, so I'm quite happy to be without sugar.
Yeah. And you were telling me before, do you want to share the story about the chocolate in the car? That,
Oh, I can't remember now. What was that in the
so
car?
that you had to get chocolate for guests and over the
Oh,
holidays, but
yes.
you
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for Christmas, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know now. For Christmas, you always buy the boxes of chocolates, the Quality Street and celebrations and all of those. And I deliberately hadn't bought any because I don't have anyone else living with me. And I thought if I buy them 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, if they're there in front of me, I will be tempted to eat them, I think. I don't know. It might be too much temptation to resist if they're there in front of me. But I thought I'm going to have people come in for Christmas, so they will want chocolates. So I did buy some about a week before Christmas, and I just left them in the boot of the car and didn't bother bringing them in the house. So it was too much. I was too much of an effort to go to the car to get them out. So that's where they stayed until my guests arrived, and then I got them out of the car, and then that was fine. They ate them, and I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you also had a lot of, you went to events where there was dessert and all those things around, but you still
Yes.
didn't want that, right?
Yes, I went for an afternoon tea, um, which you can't really choose very healthy things with an afternoon tea. But, it's one of those things, and it was very enjoyable. So I had the sandwiches and I had the scone with the cream and the jam, but I didn't have any of the cakes afterwards. Again, not because I said I can't, I just didn't want them. So, yeah, so that was good. It was a good compromise that day.
Yeah. Yeah. And a normal way of living as well, without
Yes.
having to put conditions in what where you go, what activities you
Yeah.
choose, because freedom
Yeah.
is about that as well.
Yeah, and because when you're going to stay with friends, I mean, unless there's a particular dietary requirement for health reasons, I don't want to be the one saying, "Oh, I can't have that bacon sandwich. Can you make me like a poached egg instead?" Or I don't want to be that awkward person. So,
Of
and
course,
I don't have to be. So, yeah.
of course. And that's awesome, Mel. And can you tell me how habits have changed? So these are your food choices, your preferences, how other habits have changed. Some things you used to do, um, maybe late night snacking. I don't remember if that was one of the things you changed. And what is different now?
Yeah, I've never really been a late night snacker. Although now, if I do want to snack, I have nuts. I've been and bought a whole load of glass jars and filled them up with all different kind of nuts. So that's my go-to if I want a snack, which I really, really enjoy. And that satisfies me completely. I don't feel I need to have crisps or anything like that. Nuts does the trick for me. Um, and generally, I was always under this impression that ideally we need to eat 3 times a day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Um, but I don't. I'm We're all different sizes with different appetites and things. So I generally only eat twice a day. I might have nuts or fruit in between snacks, but I only really have 2 meals a day, so lunch and dinner. And I start eating late in the day. So I, I don't have my milk in my tea anymore in the morning. I've gone on to black tea now, so that's fine. I've got quite used to that. Um, so I don't even buy milk anymore. So,
Okay,
yeah. So I start the day generally with my bio boost at about 10:30 in the morning. That's my first food. And then I'll have lunch sort of 1 o'clock. And then I'll have dinner about 6 or 7. And then that's it. That's my day. And I'm satisfied. And the other thing that I do quite a lot of now is um, eat less, because being aware of when I'm full rather than just, I like this, I need to finish it.
big big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, following your body.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And just this, not because I've been doing this for a while now. So I kind of got used to the portions that are suitable for me. So I can I'm not wasting food. I can dish up the portions that are right for me. Or sometimes I might do a steak, which again, I never used to eat steak very often, but now because I'm doing the protein, I treat myself to a really nice fillet steak. And I'm really very much enjoying it. But if I can't eat it all, which often I can't, I'll have it with vegetables and whatever. But then I'll save it, and then the next day I'll slice it up and have it with salad, cold. So I'm getting 2 meals out of it. So it's not that expensive, really.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because uh, a common belief people have is that eating healthy is expensive,
Yeah.
but it's not. Overeating is expensive. Eating junk food all the time is expensive. Eating this is expensive because it's more. But eating healthy, following the body, it's actually not expensive.
No, no, no.
So that,
And I
that
also have my chia seeds as well. I forgot about that. I sprinkle them on my salads every day when I have salads. So yeah, and walnuts.
that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, I'm just eating all these different things. Goat's cheese. Who knew? I never ate goat's cheese before. I love it.
I love it as well. It's really good.
Yeah.
And one of the most impressive things is that you experimented so much with
Mm.
trying new things, trying your own recipes. Um, but I'm understanding that this wasn't the case before. I mean, you made your own
No.
bread, which is not an easy thing, and
Yeah.
you've been making your own tomato sauce. So you really embraced the experience and experimented even further from what was required. But
Yeah.
you weren't like this before, right?
No, no, not at all. No, I'm quite old now. I've never, ever made bread before in my life. And I don't have a bread maker. I made it with my hands. So, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's
So,
great. I loved it. Yeah,
yeah. So your renewed relationship with food and that renewed excitement led you to want to try those things
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, and even trying new recipes. That's another good thing about the group. All the different recipes that all the members share, and I look at things like, oh, that sounds really nice. I'm going to try that, and people put pictures up, and yeah. So and I just get really excited. It's the planning. I say this is what I'm going to have tonight. This is what I'm going to have tomorrow. So I know what I'm going to have, but I really look forward to it and planning it. Some things I've tried and I've not liked, and I said, okay, I won't try that again. But I've tried it.
Great.
So
That
yeah,
mindset of curiosity, yes.
yeah, yeah. But mostly I've liked everything I've tried. So
And now, through all these changes, all this transformation, how much weight have you released in that period?
so from start to finish was about 14 pounds, 1 stone. Yeah, yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. That's
And
great. Yeah,
yeah,
I fully expect the weight to come off more now going forward.
yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
that's the that's the baseline.
yes,
It's having that certainty that you and that way of eating you can always come back to. So even if life happens, and life does
yeah,
happen, of course, you trust that things will balance out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
congratulations.
the thing. That's the one thing I've had in the whole program because of the smoking program. I've 100% trusted it would work for me. 100%. Even if it was slow to start, which it was for me, and I know it's different for other people, but that didn't concern me because I knew it would work. So, and I just
Yeah,
trusted, and it did. So, yeah.
yeah, and it did. Um, and since taking that food freedom journey, and even since taking the quit smoking journey, how has your life changed and your health changed? And I know you went through a lot of things after quitting smoking in
Mm,
life.
mm.
So with those ups and downs of life, what has changed for you? How is life better or different?
Wow. Well, I'm so grateful, firstly, that I haven't smoked for very close to 3 years. And even my son and his dad, even now, say they still can't believe I did it. They still in awe. um, and I just I just love the fact that I don't smoke anymore. I love it. And it's all those usual things, you know, because I used to smoke in my house as well, so I don't have the nasty smells anymore. Anyone else that wants to smoke has to go outside. I don't care if it's pouring with rain. That's where you're going. Um, yeah, and I just generally feel healthier. I've had some, yeah, as you know, some illness, which was a bit of a spanner in the works. But having said that, had I been a smoker at the time, it would have been even worse. So, with the pressure that I was under at the time, having to have my treatment, if they'd said to me I needed to stop smoking at the time as well, that would have been extra pressure that I'm not sure that I would have been able to cope with. So, the fact that I'd already stopped smoking when that happened was a massive, massive bonus. Um, and yeah, and then with the food thing, I just feel generally very healthy. I'm not putting rubbish in my body. So, and I'm now starting exercising again, going for walks and things. So yeah, it overall, it's it just feels a lot better than I was 3 years ago.
Yeah, and you look amazing. You look radiant.
Thank you.
And Mel, what what advice would you have for someone who has tried literally everything to lose weight and even just overcome sugar dependence, but let's just losing weight, change their eating habits in a sustainable way? What advice would you have for that person?
Okay, I would say again, trust 100%, trust the program, embrace it, take it all on board. Um, Commit to the experiments, even if you don't like it. It's each experiment is only for a week, which isn't a long time. And you might not like it for the first couple of days, but if you can stick to it for the week, at the end of the week, you might realise that it's okay, and you'll notice how much better it's making you feel. I would also say, having gone through the smoking program and the food program, the smoking one was harder for me because of the addiction and because of the having to stop completely. With the food program, I didn't feel so addicted. I just needed to learn about nutrition and just replace the bad foods with better foods. So that's actually a lot easier than stopping smoking, in my opinion.
Thank you for sharing that. And final question, Mal, what is something you always believed about yourself, about food, about change, and you just don't believe anymore because of your experiences?
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. I'll go back to the carbs again because when I've ever sort of gone on diets before, I've always thought I could never have a dinner without a roast potato or without rice or without chips or without pasta. I just couldn't have a dinner without one of those. And clearly I can, and I don't miss it. I'll have it maybe once a week or something, or not even that much really, but I don't miss it. And if someone was saying this to me 6 months ago, I would still be saying, oh no, I couldn't do that. No, 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 I really couldn't do that. But actually I have, and it's okay. In fact, it's really good. I don't miss it at all. I enjoy it when I
That's
have it.
amazing.
Infrequently, I enjoy it, but that's it.
Amazing. Yeah,
That's my one
that's a
thing, yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And Mel, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your journey. Of course, your transformation, your experiences. I know they will help many other people who are right now thinking about losing some weight. They don't want to go on another diet. They know
Mm,
themselves it doesn't work. And this is inspiring to know that there is a different way and there is lots of happiness and energy on the
yeah.
other side of this. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Great. And
Okay.
everybody, if you're watching this video, leave a comment below and let Mel and I know what you're taking away from her journey that can help you in yours. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.